Welcome to the Smite Force Chronicles. Hopefully my microphone sounds okay. Hey everybody. Thank you for joining. It seems like it's been forever. Can I get a sound check from one of you again real quick? I should check the Discord or the recording.
Hello, hello, hello. Sniffles.
Oh, that's a good name. Sniffles indeed. All right, yeah, it's all working. Crazy. It worked the first time. I'm sure something is broken. All right. So when we were here last, you guys had made your way to the east. You had resurrected Tempe, or was that the time before? I don't recall. And have sort of rejoined. I believe you guys did a short rest in the southwest corner of the vault, and didn't bother going into the western or the southwesternmost room. You saw a little bit of movement in there, but decided to sort of hang tight and really not mess with it. Whether you need to go in there or not remains to be seen. You made your way east, avoiding a pit trap that Tyros had fallen into, and found yourself in the hallway and played a little game of I Spy with My Glowing Eye with something directly to the east. Three of you, that would be Stephanos, Alexandria, and Dinjarin, quickly ducked into the room to the south. And the rest of you were sort of gathered to the north between some posts. In that room, you found a mysterious guest, Brother Samael, sort of slumped against the back wall, not dying, but bleeding out, hurting. Clearly had been in some sort of a kerfuffle prior to you finding him. Stephanos made her way over and was kind enough to heal Brother Samael, who then sort of pushed up against the wall, standing up a little uneasily, and basically was asking, how the heck did you guys get here? What are you doing here? Right? Not a lot of trust immediately emanated from Brother Samael, but then again, you don't have that trust either. I believe there were some differing opinions, maybe words unspoken, about what to do with Brother Samael, but I'm going to defer to the lot of you to figure that out. But here we are. We are not in combat. We are in sort of planning stage, and I'm going to stop talking and turn it over to you guys. So let's start with those of you outside of the room. So that would be Glory, Tyros, and Tempe. What did you guys want to do in the meantime? And then the rest of you be thinking about what you're going to do as well. You do see that sort of that greenish light emanating down the hallway.
Yeah, so Tempe and I have pretty much established that it only walks to a certain point and turns around and walks back. So thoughts are that it might be some sort of a sentry, something programmed, but unless something comes into that light, it's not going to proceed any further. So I think we're sort of holding tight where we're at. Glory was doing some exploring or looking at the bridge, and I'm not sure what her thoughts were there. But Tempe and I also do not know what's going on in the room below us. All we know is that Dinjarin, Alexandria, and Stephanos are in there and haven't come out yet, but there hasn't been any imminent cries of danger.
Just to clarify, the green light is a no, it's a dead end.
No, it's a hallway. It appears to be a hallway to the east. We're not sure. We haven't traveled into there. All we've just seen is this light kind of come out and then fade back in.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you do see you do see the light coming and going now, correct?
Yes. I do. Like a moth, it is drawing me in.
And I think we even sussed out, because I saw it before I went into the room, was it seemed to be at a regular,
regular intervals.
Yeah, regular intervals. So
now,
but we've made sure that we didn't stand in its light because we don't know what it is. So,
and some clarification, or not clarification, some reminders for those of you who may not remember this. Glory, up by you, you saw that sort of the footing around the posts to the east. Continue to down. It looks like you could maybe sort of, not with pure safety, but you could sort of ease your way around, that direction. Uh-oh. I've got a blue spinny wheel. Anyone else? No? Okay. Good. So there could be, a northern passage there. There was also that bridge heading north from where you stand. Tyros, I believe the last thing that you may have done, if I remember correctly, is I think you rolled some perception sort of to understand a few things. I don't know that you guys have deeply investigated anything. And Tempe, you originally were down a little bit farther south, but then sort of creeped around to that back behind that column to sort of hide, right? So that you weren't quite out in the open. Anything that you guys would like to know or give me your sort of, this sort of pseudo round, what's your action going to be? And movement is locked. If any of the three of you want to move, I will happily unlock it, but I will do so once you sort of give me your plan.
Roast, are you on the other side of the column? I think. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
right, I want to swing over to Tyros. What do you think about going into the green room?
I think into the room south where Dinjarin and Stephanos and Glory are, or into the hallway?
Hallway.
I kind of want to do an investigation or perception to see if I can figure out what that is.
Okay, let's do that
before we take a walk into there.
Should we go over to the the entryway or the corridor DM before we roll?
No,
you check, or can we do it from here?
You guys can roll and investigate from where you are, or you can move and investigate. Whatever you want to do. And Glory, you're in the same conversation, so.
Oh, what say you, Glory, our wise leader?
Yeah, if we can do an investigation from here, that would be great.
Awesome. So you will investigate your immediate surroundings.
Yeah, I think that's one thing Adam wasn't here for too. Is there was a vote on a different leader. I don't remember who it ended up being.
It's probably me, since I wasn't there.
Yep, and then I'll teach you a new tool. Go ahead and roll the investigation checks the old-fashioned way this time.
Well done, Glory.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Tyros, you are wise. Huh?
Coming in
right.
Strong.
Coming in hot.
All right, so Tyros, here, and you were trying to understand sort of the lay of the land and potentially what that thing might be.
Yeah.
Right. So you listen to some rumblings, and you hear heavy footsteps. It sounds a little bit like stone on stone, right? It makes you a little unease. Do me a quick. And are you going to be relaying this to everyone else, or is this just in your ears?
This is for Tempe and Glory.
Okay.
Obviously, I can't relay that to anyone in the south yet.
Yeah. So let me do a quick. I'm going to have you all roll a nature check to see if you can identify from the sounds what this is. And nature. And here we go. Show DC and start our epic roll.
Oh wait, what?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I really love this little tool, by the way.
That is cool, man.
And if you look in the chat window, you'll see the results. I think you guys see the results.
Failure.
So Glory fails. Glory, you guys see Glory just like shrug and like, God damn. But the other two of you, yeah. So Tempe, even from where you stand, this sounds like it might be a stone golem, right? Like like a very common traditional guardian of things, right? They perform their duties without question. So send to chat.
Duties. Whoa.
Duties indeed. All right. So 16 isn't going to give you
friendly. Yeah,
they're not always the nicest guy. You don't know much with the 16 beyond being able to sort of identify that. But what you do know is that they've got a couple of fun attacks. One is their main attack is slam, right? it's a melee attack, and they hit hard. They're made of stone, right? Something in the neighborhood of 2d8 plus 6 bludgeoning damage for a hit. So you are going to know that you were hit if they connect with you. And
Are they fast?
And large.
well, hold on. They are large. They're a pretty big beast. I'm sorry, a pretty big construct, which you would know. And they get 2 attacks. Right? So, it is clobbering time when it's their turn.
Do
now,
we know which direction this is coming from?
I'll tell you that in 2 seconds. To answer the first question, they are not fast. They move about 20 feet per turn, right? So, most of you can outrun them, and as long as you stay out of melee. But and with a dash, you could double that. But doing the math, if they dash, right, they can go 40 feet. So that's sort of the common sense. Now, with those not awesome rolls, I'm not going to be able to tell you much about their resistances or their vulnerabilities, right? All right. So your question, Glory, is from the lights, what you see is it looks like that golem heads from east to west straight, but at some point when it's heading east, it looks like it takes a sharp right, and then the light disappears. And then you don't see the light for a little bit, and then maybe 20 seconds later it comes back.
I have a side request. Can we have a compass put on the map so it's constantly showing the right direction?
Sure.
But we're always facing. Isn't it always north, south, east, west? Like the map itself doesn't turn.
Oh, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah,
East is always to the right, and when he turns right, when it disappears, then he's heading down the south hallway.
Okay.
Wait,
well,
but it's interesting
right,
that you.
right.
So in game, Glory, as you're thinking about that, you remember that you guys have found compass parts, and as of yet have done nothing with them. You're thinking like, man, it would be nice to have a compass. Remember the other game when you're like, it'd be nice to talk to somebody, and then behold, there was a person? This game, you're like, it'd be cool to have a compass, and you kind of got some compass parts.
he's got compasses. You should give them to me. I'll put them together and we can see direction.
I have an arcane finder.
Yeah, you have the Arcana Wayfinder is what you have, and that's it's some sort of, you think it's some sort of a compass. All right, so northern posse. That's what you know about the golem. But Tyros, you killed it with your investigation, and what you've noticed is just to the south of you. Oops, I forgot how my own tool worked. Let that red line disappear for a second. Come on now, there it is. What you noticed is right in this area. And you're like right on the edge. The ground seems questionable. It seems a little different than the rest of the ground. A little more uneven. A little more, shall we say, hollow beneath. And you get a chill because you're legit right next to what you think may be some sort of a trap.
Good to know. Thank you.
Let me give you a little, because you did get a 27, and this will be the last tidbit. Your spidey sense wonders if there's not some way to leverage this trap.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing that we can hear.
And I kind of hate you for rolling a 27. All right, so I'm gonna.
All-knowing.
If any of you want to do any movement, I will let you move up to your full movement right now, and then we're gonna move on to the team to the south. So I'm unlocking free movement for only the people in the north.
I'm holding place. I would recommend Tempe, if you are going to come anywhere near me, stay to my back.
go around the other way by Glory?
That would probably be the best way to, if you do want to come up behind me.
I'll give you that movement back and then sort of go there.
Doink.
All right, are you guys moved?
I'm gonna get stacked up, Tyros. But yeah, moved. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, I'm gonna lock the movement down. Glory, you have a whole different view of the world now. What you see ahead of you, you saw glimmers of this. What you see ahead of you is some sort of a treacherous-looking bridge, right? Or a bridge parts. It's a ruined bridge. It's a broken bridge. Sort of made of ancient stone, and its surface is cracked and worn, making it sort of dangerous to. I should just give you the whole thing. Making it dangerous for any adventurer. The heat emanating from the lava around it is really intense, right? And it does cast a sort of eerie glow on the crumbling stone structures around it. Now, it's fairly wide, roughly 10 feet or so. Actually, more than that, probably more like 10 or 15 feet. And it looks like about 3 people can pass at a time, making it sort of inviting yet treacherous. This bridge is an old, unstable structure, and it could collapse at any moment, or not. But that lava below it is unforgiving, right? Let me see where you're standing. You see both on each wall, ignoring sort of my phrasing because I didn't think anyone would stand right here. You're met with this haunting sight of a giant skull carved in sort of to the east wall. There's one sort of to the north and one to the south. The skull has these eyes that cast an eerie and sinister light upon the area. And, the eyes of these skulls seem to be fixed on the bridge, creating an intense feeling of being watched. Between that bridge and those skulls is the pool of lava. It's a dangerous and unforgiving obstacle that must be navigated if you are to secure the treasure that you see sitting next to the skull. There's a small bit of ground, surrounding the skull, and it seems really the only way to reach it. But, it's not an obvious path. Now, carved into the wall, and you can barely make this out. You have to get a little bit closer to get much detail. There seems to be some sort of a small alcove with what looks like a small gem floating, sort of just hovering in the middle of the alcove. But from where you stand, that's what you know. Now, as you know, between you and that stuff is lava, a ruined bridge, and the patrolling stone golem. So let the gurgling, calming sounds of the lava be your Calgon moment that takes you. You guys can't hear that because you're not where she is, but there's some really cool lava sounds going on. Anyway. All right, so that's it. So that's what you guys, and for Tempe and Tyros, your view does not change at all. Oh, Gloria, there's one other thing I just realized in your line of sight. Just peeking within the southern line of sight looks to be some sort of a... And do you want me to share with anyone what you see? Some sort of a
Yeah,
crate.
I do. Because
Okay.
I kind of did. I meant to do it as a whisper to Tyros and Tempe, but I ended up just doing it to everyone. So yeah, everyone knows.
All right, here we go. And... Oh, yeah, I should pay attention to the whispers, too. I can see the whispers, but no one else can see your whispers. Just the people that you're whispering to, just so you know. And I did tell you guys, because you weren't here last time, Tempe, when you loot something now, it no longer blasts the chat with what you took. Just so you know. So, that's between you and the chest, and who you tell. All right, let's move to the south. So you guys don't know what's going on up north, but you do know what's going on down here. Alexandria has her bullseye lantern all lit up, right? Casting light to the easternmost part of the room where she sees Stephanos sort of engaged in the beginnings of a conversation with Brother Samael. What is your strategy for down here?
Stephanos is talking with Brother Samuel, I'm just kind of looking him over to see if I could assess what weapons he may have, or like does he seem like someone formidable to us, or like?
Why don't you
Yeah.
roll? Is this going to be a Dinjarin only thing, or do you all have the same questions?
Let's all try to get a vibe.
right,
I was gonna suggest an insight check.
Yeah, let's do a vibe check. That's what we should call it. A vibe check. All right, so not Tempe, not Tyros, not Glory. This time it's going to be insight. And I'm not going to share the DC this time. Damn. Are you kidding me?
We all got some good insights.
Well, let this be my engagement gift to Stefanos. Yeah, we got a couple of fabulous. Stefanos won, but we'll give a shout out to Dinjarin and Alex. Like everyone got over a 20 with the flip, as they say on the YouTubes. All right, so just to give you guys, worth noting, Tempe, do you have the macros, the team macros, added to your hotbar at the bottom left? Were you here for that? Yeah, because that's where you have the nice whispers and all of that. So you can do the /W.
Yeah, I just forgot where they were.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you had access to those. So I'm gonna do.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do a little. And you guys are welcome to copy those macros and edit them and make them say whatever you want. But that's all on you. All right, so we're gonna do a quick rewind, so you can re-immerse in Brother Samuel as I start to let a little bit more about him unfold. So, this was the unlucky, adventurer that you found slumped in the corner, right? To answer your first question, Dinjarin, laying next to him was a long sword, and it was stained with blood, and tucked into his belt is this decorative dagger, right? And it looks like it had been used recently. And his robes are bloodied and charred.
I guess because I would have known, Dinjarin would have known that. I guess what I would want to know is like trying to assess, is that his blood on the long sword? Or
yeah, even with a 20 million, you wouldn't be able to assess the forensic behind where the blood came from unless there was a different color, and it's reddish at least, so it may or may not belong to humanoids, goblinoids, altoids, whatever. Let me give you another view. So just another reminder, right? This was about him pressing himself against the wall, just so you guys still have that narrative. And this was the conversation window and the creepy dude talking that Stefano is being presented with. So now to answer a little bit more of your questions. Oops, why can't I click on this? Your insight is that this gentleman should not be trusted, right? That doesn't necessarily imply that he should be killed, but he should not be trusted. He may provide a means to some end. You don't know, right? You don't know what lies ahead of you, and perhaps he does. What else can I share? You can identify from his robes and his dagger and the sort of severity of his sort of whole demeanor that he is indeed, one of the Black Cult of the Dragon members. And from what you can tell, he seems to be of some import, right? So perhaps he was leading, the party of now charred bodies, or perhaps they were unrelated. any way you look at it, there's 4 dead bodies and 1 is alive. So if he was part of that group, they died, he didn't, and you can do the math. What other things would you possibly know? You can see the longsword, and it looks like a better than average longsword. You can see the dagger. It seems somewhat vicious. But you also sort of see tucked into his side, just sort of peeking out once in a while from his robe. It looks like he has some sort of a sling, and then maybe some sort of a tube. Like, I'm not sure what the tube's for, but there's just some sort of a tube. He also has, in his pockets, there's various bits of paper, maps, all sorts of things are sort of tucked in here and there. And then some unknown thing bulging in a pocket that he has, somewhat secured shut. So you assess that maybe there's something important in that one pocket. Not that the other stuff's not important. And that is all I'm going to give you from an insight / bonus investigation check from afar. Any questions about any of that?
The tube thing you said is in his pocket? Like, are we just peeking out of his pocket?
So that like it's sort of under his robe, possibly tucked into a holster or into a pocket, or who knows, right? Like, but you just sort of see this tube. It kind of looks like a sort of a bamboo flute, kind of. Does it
look like he's trying to hide it, or it was just where he had
it? It looks like he's always trying to hide things. Just sort of his demeanor, right? He's not a trusting soul, clearly. Like his first words to you were not "thank you for finding me." It was, "Why are you here?" So his these items are probably where they are when he adventures or when he travels or whatever else. Like nothing specific. Like he's not went to, and tried to hide anything from you, because it seems that he's sort of always ready for that.
All right. Can we move, by the way?
I will. Well, I want to ask Alexandria and Stefanos their plans, and then I will unlock movement just like the other group.
I kind of will persuade them to convince him to give some insight on what he had to overcome here, so we could potentially leverage that and defeat whatever we need to take care of, and he'd actually have an easier time getting out.
Okay. So that's what you'll be going to be doing. What about you, Alexandria?
Yeah, I think we should try to deceive him right back, which means I won't be doing anything, since I'm not really an owl of many words. However, I know we've got very suggestive / deceptive people in the group.
Indeed you do. Indeed you do. All right, so I'm going to unlock... Oh, go ahead.
Just to make sure you know what I'm going to walk up and stand next to Stefanos, but I'm going to try to kind of sort of hide that I'm doing this, but step on the blade that's on the ground so he can't necessarily pick it up because my weight's on the blade. Because it didn't say when he stood up he picked up the sword, right?
No, you see it laying on the ground.
Oh yeah,
right.
So I'm just going
to... He does have his hand on his... He has his hand on his dagger, though. But
yeah,
you sort of wager he always does. Yeah.
I'm not doing it intentionally, but I am going to step on the sword. Just come up next to her and step on the sword.
All right, so here's roughly where you will find the sword.
Okay.
Right? And this area is sort of rough and rocky. I don't know if you guys can make that out.
I was hoping to kind of stand like right around there.
All right. Just make sure you're not on the fire.
What's that?
Just make sure you're not on the fire.
The thing works really well, by the way.
The what does?
The drawing thing.
Oh, isn't it? It's like, yeah, I think if we finally are honing in on, I think, the tools that make this game fun as opposed to make it playable, which is nice. I love the rolls thing, right? So keep asking for rolls because it's a lot of fun. All right, cool. I'm going to unlock movement. You can only move You can only move your allotted movement this time, just so you know. So, and Stephanos, if you want to back out or if you want to do whatever else, you're welcome to do so as well.
I'm just backing out a little bit.
All right, so free movement is on for them for those guys. No one from the north can move, please. And you're going to have to you hold shift to move your person a little bit in. Okay, so that's enough off with fire for good. Hey, are you saying anything as you approach? What's your demeanor?
So I am pulling out a flask of water just to be like, "Are you thirsty?" And walking over, like, "Do you want some water?"
Cheerful, caring, like, ooh, I'm a fellow evil person. We might have a lot in common. Like, all of that in body language.
I would appreciate some water, thank you. But I do ask that I don't know you, and you would be kind enough to keep some of your distance until we build more of a rapport. Being set upon by two intimidating characters is not putting my head in the right place. But I do appreciate that your gnome friend here has given me some space. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, so you give him some water, and he sort of, he takes a couple of drinks, draws, and sort of wipes off his chin and hands you back your flask. It's rimmed with a little bit of cultist blood, but otherwise, no worse for the wear.
Okay. I'll turn and back off a little bit as well, but as I do, I kind of kick again, not like I don't want it to look like I'm doing it intentionally, even though I am, but I kind of kick the sword away from him, so that like it almost like that, and even I pretend maybe like a trip a little bit, like or something. I don't know.
All right, let's do. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna do 2 rolls. For one, we're going to roll first where's it at? Acrobatics. That'd be you. Because you're doing a little bit of a little toe tap on this thing, and oh, you got very lucky. Yeah. So you guys see this sort of sword. It looks like Dinjarin just sort of like inadvertently towed the sword. And roughly, where were you towing it to?
Just away from him, so that he like far enough where he can't necessarily just easily bend down and grab it.
Like over here?
Yeah.
Okay. And then next, you're going to roll a deception check to see if he fell for it. Damn. I had my words that he was going to say already. so you guys see, like, so this cultist, as you're moving, he's tracking you with his eyes, which allows you to sort of sidekick this sword away from him. And it's laying on sort of a pile of rubble, and he's no wiser. As a matter of fact, I need to take it. Hopefully this works. So there is an item pile of that sword. So it's no longer in his inventory. It's laying on the ground. And it's not my favorite, not my favorite giant image of a sword. I don't know what that's all about. Let's see if there's there's nothing what I can do about it. Well, you know what I can do is I can take it and make it much smaller. Let's do that. There. That's less annoying. All right, so there's a sword sort of laying on the edge, roughly right about here, I think is what we agreed upon. Awesome. And he doesn't, he has no idea, like, that you've done this, right? Now, Alexandria, you look at that sword, you see it, and it looks like that's an exceptional blade. You're a little intrigued. You are a monk, not really a blade monk, but you know, it is something worth noting. So you guys are now, you know, in a different place, and he sort of is looking you at expectantly, and he looks across now at you, Dinjarin.
So tell me, friend, why are you here? How did you come upon this place?
I look over at my shoulder at Stephanos and look over at Alexandria, and I just kind of say, well, why are any of us here, really? I mean, the gods have put us in places to do things, you know, who really knows why any of us are where we are?
And he starts to get an annoyed look on his face.
Don't toy with me. It is not expected to come upon people in this area. Why are you here?
I just kind of look over at the other two, kind of like, do either of you know? I kind of forgot why we're actually here. Kind of looking at Stephanos and Alexandria, like, clearly I'm not the one to talk as well.
Yeah, so well, you were right in front of it, and you made the contact. So his eye, you know, his face gets a little bit more tense, and you sort of start to see him, you know, feel the dagger. He's not coming at you, but he's just sort of like, his trust is sort of ebbing, right? He's not reaching for his sword that's no longer there, but I think he's starting to become a little annoyed that he's asked several times how you came upon him, and you're playing with him like a cat with a mouse.
Yeah, we just want to make it clear that we just found our way here by exploring, and I did give him a potion, healing, help him out because he looked like he needed a little help.
So are you talking to him, or is that what you're telling me that your intentions are going to be?
I'm talking to you.
Okay, so then I'm having a hard time hearing Stephanos. Is anyone else? Is it just me?
Yeah, I just turned up her volume.
Yeah, she's cutting in and out, kind of like.
Yeah, choppy and quiet.
Oh, I have her cranked way up already. I can't go any higher than that. That would be super loud. All right, so he, he sort of leans to the left, looking around Dinjarin.
You know, it seems that you and I were having a better conversation before this character here interceded. Would you like to share with me how you came upon me and why you were here?
Yeah, we were exploring, trying to avoid some traps, and we ended up in this room. We were helping each other out and found you in the corner here. Made sure we got some aid to you. We didn't want to leave anything behind.
Exploring what and why? Were you looking for something?
I actually legitimately think down here and how we ended up here.
We were just trying to relight a lighthouse, from what I remember. And we just kind of somehow ended up down here.
And is the lighthouse lit?
I think so. I don't know much the workings of lighthouses, so I believe we got it going again, but that seems like months ago that happened. Maybe even like a previous year.
Let me get this straight, Elf. You're exploring for something. You were originally here to light a lighthouse. You can't remember if you succeeded at lighting the lighthouse. You come upon me in this dark, treacherous place. which no normal man or creature would be found in.
So women are just bucketed under creature now? Men are creature? What about women?
I'm not the most woke individual.
I
A conversation, so sorry.
I realized that since you referred to me, and I'm looking at Stephanos and Alexandria as elf. I'm guessing you you must be talking to me since you called me an elf. Although I am not an elf. I am a drow, and I live in the Underdark, or I'm from the Underdark, and so I'm quite comfortable in areas like this. And I was just trying to give you my understanding of what we were doing. But if you want, we could leave you here, and we could just be on our way.
I knew you were a drow. I just didn't know if you owned it.
Then I would say you best watch your tongue as to how you refer to me.
This is the first truthful thing I think you've said.
And with that, he does ease up a little bit, right? So it's I feel at least you're not lying to him, right? It seems like he's a threat's as good as a hug to this guy. Now, my question to you all is: what are your intentions? Are you going to answer his questions? What's your next move, right? Because he's simply asking you, and you have to put yourself in his shoes. You're slumped in a corner. All of a sudden, 3 random people show up. You're like, how did you even get here? You know why you're here, right? So you're trying to identify: are they here for the same reasons? Are they not here for the same reasons? This is a very random place to run into somebody. Right? This isn't like running into an old college roommate at Disneyland, right? Like, this is a vault deep underground. Think of the things you had to go through and the puzzles you had to solve to even get here.
I pose to him, I ask you again, friend, given that there are more of us than you, what are you doing down here?
So roll. As you're doing this on, I think you need to roll. What is okay? So what is he doing down here? Without a roll, I can tell you. He will offer to you that
We're looking for treasures. Right? I'm part of a group, and we need to be well funded. So we're always looking for riches. We'd heard rumors and found artifacts that led us here. We also discovered there were several ways into this place. Our way was through an ancient crater of a somewhat dormant volcano. What we didn't expect was what we came upon here.
We too are seeking treasures and riches. We're adventurers, and we just recently bought a house back in Flan, and Phelan, and we need to do some renovations, and of course, being lonely adventurers for hire, we needed the money, and we found ourselves through here from a beach entrance into an old temple.
That aligns with what we know. We didn't dare enter through the temple, though.
I kind of look him up and down and say, well, I could understand why someone like yourself wouldn't enter through the temple.
I see what you did there. Look, what are your plans to escape? And a better question, have you seen a travel partner?
Have we seen what? I didn't hear that. Sorry.
My companions. I was traveling with 4 others. We got separated during a fight.
We did run across some unfortunate souls who did not seem to fare too well within a battle. But if you do want to come out, you can talk to our group leader, who's just right outside the door. He may be able to give you more information on this. We were attacked by some blob creatures, and we got split up and just sort of reunited just recently ourselves.
Were they yellowish?
Yes.
Ochre jellies. They're nothing compared to what's in the rest of the vault. We had come upon
Why don't you come out
minotaurs.
and discuss this with our leader, who's just outside here? He will give you as much information as you can provide him, and perhaps we can come to an accord.
I'd be interested in some sort of an arrangement, but why would your leader not come to this much more secure, safer space?
Well, they're exploring some light that we saw earlier. They were trying to assess what the situation is there, from what I understand.
Is this light green, and is it moving?
It seems to be fading and coming back within, and yes, I believe it's green.
That is the stone golem. It's guarding the southmost passage. In this vault, there are many ways to get from point A to point B. We came from that direction. We were able to sneak around the golem, effectively. All 5 of us. As we made our way across, we were not as fortunate, and came across some creatures that were a little less forgiving of our stealth. I'll give you one bit of warning. Avoid the minotaurs.
Yeah, we kind of learned that one ourselves too. We had a companion who sort of got knocked down by one.
Well, if your companion got back up, he's luckier than most. And you've mentioned now a leader and a companion. How many of you are there?
6 of us. He sees Dinjar kind of look at his fingers and actually go, like, mentally doing the math.
Your friend here is number challenged, it seems. Good thing he has 5 fingers on each hand. So look, here's the bottom line. I think if we rally, we could all find a path to the outcomes we're after. I know the path out, for it is the direction from which I came. There is nothing beyond this vault that interests me. And from what our studies tell us, there's nothing above but death.
I will say, and again, I look at Alexandria and Stephanos to kind of see if they agree. You need to talk with our leader to ensure that he's willing to work with you on and work together. But I don't see an issue with that.
Well, bring your leader to me then, friend. I'm going to sit for a moment and regain some strength. I have some rations that I'm going to pull out. Let me know when you're ready to have a discussion about plans and arrangements.
And he just sort of leans back against the wall and sort of slides back down. You see him pull out what looks like some sort of beef jerky or something, and start to sort of nibble away. What are you guys doing?
Well, while all of this is happening, we don't know what's going on, so we're talking about sandwiches.
Yeah. So I am.
We have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you have no idea. So the 3 of you are any of you going to call for your friends.
Yeah,
just
I'm
wanna
gonna
leave
head
this
out
guy?
the door. And I'm gonna head
Okay.
out, grab our leader, pull him in for the convo.
All right. So you gonna call him from the doorway, or are you gonna try to make your way all the way over to him?
Try to pull him from the doorway.
All right. So let's just assume that happened. We don't need to, you don't need to go in and out. Stephanos, move yourself to where you want to be when he enters the room.
Wait, can I say something to Tyros before he is
Yeah,
called?
you guys are in. You guys are able to discuss whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Tyros, before you head over, just so you know, I think we need to lure the green light to where you see there's a weakness in the floor. I'm gonna stay here, but I think focus on that. That's it.
Yeah, I think
Right.
we either ask this guy how he got past the golem, or we throw him into the trap and see if the golem moves.
Well, maybe you can use him as like bait, right? Like if he comes out, just don't touch
Right.
the green light. If you do, be ready to run and maybe use this guy as bait.
And
Now,
also,
you don't know about this guy. Just so you guys know, that you don't know there's a guy down there. You just know
Oh.
that
Oh,
you
wait,
see
what did
Stephanos in the
Stephanos
hallway.
tell us?
Well,
Oh,
Stephanos
no.
is sort of waving you over, right? She's not going to yell across.
Yeah.
And the people that would see Stephanos are both Tempe and Tyros, but you can communicate with Glory. But you don't know any of the details, and she's not so good at pantomime that you're going to get all of that, right? So what you know is there's a stone golem. There's some sort of a trap in the hallway that you did not set off, which is awesome. And you see Stephanos sort of like waving you over, right? And it looks like she's waving you over, Tyros, not necessarily Tempe. But I defer to you guys.
Well, I see Stephanos waving to me. I turn around to Tempe. It's like, hold tight where I am. I'm gonna go check out, see what Stephanos wants.
All right, see if you can find some bait for that trap.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna move you in so that you don't inadvertently set off the trap, since you
Thank
can't really see it, and we don't probably want to go there. So you step into the room, and you see off to the east. You see off to the east. I don't know. There you go. Dinjarin and Alexandria is, sort of in front of flanking Brother Samael. In the southeast corner, you see this decorative, kind of badass looking sword, right? Just sort of laying on the ground, right? You have no context about any of this. You're within whisper distance of Stephanos if you want to have a conversation with her. So she pulled you in. I'll defer to you guys to chat. Tell me when you're ready to take the next move.
So what's the deal with this guy?
He seems a little shady. He was hurt in the corner. He's wearing some cultish robe. And he's asking us what we're doing down here. And we're trying to figure out why he's so beat up and his friends are all dead around him. So we're trying to figure out the situation, but he's not giving up stuff. He wants to know why we're here first. And maybe see how we can partner.
So those were his friends' bodies that we walked over. Okay.
That's an assumption, actually. For sure. He didn't give us the answer.
No, it's good to know. All right, I'll pop over and talk to him really quick, and then I think we've got to figure out which way we're going to go from here. So, and with that, Tyros is gonna. I don't know if I've got free movement or not, but I was gonna walk here beside Alexandria.
Yep, you have free movement.
How about this? I'll actually, now that I see Tyros is here, I'll move out of the way and go over here so that Tyros can kind of get to more of a face-to-face conversation.
Yep. Free movement is on. Go ahead and take your moves. Same with Alexandria and Stephanos.
Oops. Sorry, I went the wrong way. My whole mouse glitched on me.
You didn't move, did you?
No, I got the wall blocked me, so that was good.
Yeah, because you would have probably fallen into a pit.
Yep.
And also, those of you in the north, if you want, you guys can take a move as well if you want. Wherever you want to position yourself, knowing that there is a stone golem sort of patrolling.
So I want to go. I want to go over here. Oh, there's this chest here. I want to go to the chest.
So there's a crate.
I'll go to the chest.
So hold on. So to go there, you're gonna need to roll an acrobatics, because you're gonna have to push around that column.
Okay.
You know, on some unstable earth. Let me go ahead and roll. I'll do a contested roll. I'm sorry. Roll for you.
Gonna wake the golem.
Well, no, I just gotta stay away from the green light, right? So I want to go where the green light can't touch me.
That's your So that's your assumption. You don't know that. That's what you think.
Yeah, that's my assumption, and that's what my actions are gonna reflect.
Yep. And what was that? Oh, bio break from Curtis. I'm like, I forget that that was my own sound. All right.
That
So
one
it's-
needs
it's-
to be more like water flow, not a smack sound.
All right, so here you go. You just have to beat a 14.
A 14?
Yeah, you didn't investigate the ground. I mentioned it was very unstable, right?
Well, I'm gonna fall into a frickin'.
Seemed like a rash move.
All right, so you
Oh my god!
didn't make it.
Even for glory.
So
Well,
roll.
I do have fire resistance. So
Yeah, roll
I don't know.
a d6 for me.
What about lava resistance? Do you have lava resistance?
Lava, fire, it's all the same thing. Hold on. A D6?
Yeah, a d6. That's just the a normal looking die
Yeah,
in the
I got
bottom.
that.
Just one. All right, so we're looking at your left foot. Okay, now roll an athletics check. Now I'll go ahead and do this for you. So
You're like
basically,
the
what we found is that you weren't able to sort of like dance around and make it. Your left foot found some uneasy footing, and we're going to find out if you were able to keep your foot from entering the lava right now. And you'll be thrilled to know this one's not near as difficult.
fucking kidding me. No, you know what? I'm not going. No, I want to roll again without you sending it to me. I am pretty sure that these things are rigged.
Yeah.
Sure. Like,
right.
no, this is ridiculous.
Calm down.
I've lost my foot. I now have a peg foot. I'm useless.
Yeah, you have not lost
I
your
might
foot.
as well just give myself to Madame Fiona and be like, use me as
All right.
a
Still-
sideshow piece.
Yeah, you have damage. You have fire resistance, which is good. And so we're just going to roll a very simple d4 to see how much fire damage you take. Of course, it's a 4. So, yeah, you're able to pull your foot out, but you got yourself a little lava, hit your foot, and you take just 4 points of damage. Nothing too spectacular. Right? Your green little line barely moves at all. You're feeling pretty okay. But you are hanging on to sort of the column, right? You made your way part way around. And the good news is that you're not within eye shot of that stone golem. You see there's another post there, sort of blocking the view, and you can see a chest sort of like beckoning to you. But that's it for your turn right now. Tempe, did you do your move?
Yeah, I learned what not to do. I'm gonna go.
Awesome. Yeah, and you can't get around Glory now. You see sort of Glory hanging on, to this column. And I will give you a free move if you want to. If you want to push her, if you want to push her around, if you want to help her around, I'll give her that move. Or if you want to pull her back towards you, I'll give her that move as well. It won't require a check.
Yeah, let's yank her out of the fire there.
So
when we
so
were
you feel
speaking of hot chicken, I didn't mean right now.
you feel Tempe sort of grab your cloak and start to pull backwards. Do you let him pull you backwards, or do you stay where you are?
Yeah, no, I'll. My foot kind of hurts. Like, ow.
All right, so
Well,
you go.
wait.
You go. Okay, then no, that's like think it through.
What if it's like as he's pulling, I'm like, no, push.
Yeah, no, you can. That was like kind of the point. Did you want to ask him to push you instead of pull you, or just hang on and let nothing happen? And Tempe, it's up to you, right? You hear her say like, no, push.
Not in the fire.
This folly.
So what are you doing?
Nothing. It's a bad idea, Glory.
All right. So do you just stay where you are? So do you just let go of her
Yep.
her robe, or do you not push her around?
Fairly well.
All right. So you feel Tempe go to just sort of like, fuck it, right? And lets you go, and you feel, and it's okay because like there's no longer pressure on your fingers. You're holding onto this column, just fine, right? But you do feel sort of the heat sort of making its way up your back. So that's something you'll have to deal with at some point. But this is not that moment. Tempe, you've moved into sort of that hallway. You can now sort of see the outline of that trap, and it looks like it goes all the way to right around here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you could safely sort of come down that way. You know that a stone column or a stone golem would be able to make it through that pathway that you're in right now. Just as a heads up. So if your goal is to get him to come this way, know that if there's anything to the north, he will possibly follow that path instead. All right, now we're down to the south, Tyros. Stefanos is leaning against the wall, and Dinjarin's backed away. Alexandria looks like she's moved into flank Brother Samael, making him a little bit uncomfortable. Beneath her little bird feet, she feels a sword. Tyros, you are face to face with Brother Samuel, about, I'd say, 10 feet away. Like there's a 5-foot span between the two of you. You're good to go. I'm turning off movement. And that's the end of that movement. So you guys are where you are.
Sorry, I was trying to rotate into facing. It wasn't working, though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no worries. Oh, well, I didn't actually stop it because of you. I didn't notice that. Yeah, and it's like shift arrow keys, but yeah. All right, so, as soon as you walk up to him, Samuel's like,
Are you this leader that I've been hearing about?
Oh yeah, I'm the one that is kind of help rallying the group, but we work as a group here. I don't know what transpired between you and the rest of my gang. I see that you're alone, and the fact that you're still alive means that we trust you a little bit. So here's the deal. We're not going to talk long. We have a quest and we need to keep on moving. I don't know how well you know these caverns, and any help that you've got would be beneficial to us, and we'll even take you along with us if you want. What is it you're trying to do here?
We were after riches, and I appreciate your being forthcoming. Seems that you, from what these people tell me, were also after riches.
We are.
There's 6 of you?
There is 6 of us, that's right.
And from the looks of at least your companions here, stealth may not be of their strength. So maneuvering 6 people through this vault might be a little rough. Why were you here? What treasure were you looking for specifically?
And that's where I've completely forgotten the exact treasure that we're looking for too.
So you remember there's a couple of things, right? Up in level 1, you found some sort of a dragon sword, right? Like in that dragon mouth, right? You knew there were secrets. There was something special about this cavern. You were trying to uncover what it was, right? Like why were people interested in this? You made your way through. You made your way down, battled your way through mummies and yada yada yada, and one of you secured at least one of Baphomet's orb of summoning, right? So it's sort of pulling it all together with the narrative from the Goblin Cave. made your way down and have also found a couple of other things, a couple of other Baphomet artifacts, as well as some checklist of Wayfinder parts, right? And with some potential locations, some talk of an airship, right? And it was you found these parts on his companions. So without, passively, you'll know that, like, they're probably not looking for treasure. They're probably looking for the same parts that you suddenly have. He does not know you have the parts. You do not know if he has any parts. Neither of you are admitting anything beyond treasure.
Quick, on that same note, quick question, kind of outside the game. Are we still in the aquatic crypt, or is this considered a different thing now?
Aquatic crypt.
Okay.
Well, I mean, aquatic crypt is sort of the name of the chapter.
Got it.
Right.
Okay. I was just because I was trying to go back and look at the quest log to see what.
Yeah.
You'd have to go back a long way. So you are well, actually, you are in chapter, I believe. I can tell you. You are in chapter 5. As part of the aquatic crypt adventure, and chapter 5 is It Breathes Fire. Remember, and you are in the map, which is called the Vault. So, like, you're in sort of this giant vault of some sort, right? You'd come from chapter 3 was securing the sword, right? Chapter 4 was disturbing the tombs, because you disturbed a bunch of tombs. Chapter 5 was It Breathes Fire. You don't know what the next chapter is because you've not made it there yet. But you do know that you found your way into a vault. You do not know how to get out of the vault. You do know that it seems that you can't go back the way you came. Right? You're now, on this sort of meta quest to find Wayfinder parts. Matter of fact, it's one of the quests that I will add to your quest tracker, right? Finding all of the parts of this Wayfinder. But you don't know how to get out of the vault from here. You don't know what is to the east beyond what Brother Samael has told you. So we have about 5 minutes left, and I thought we would end a nice tight one. But I want you guys to sort of finish this conversation and directionally know where you're going next.
All right, so friend, I'll make this short and I'll make this quick. We don't have a lot of time to talk because we're on time constraints here. We need to find our way out, and that's what we're kind of searching for, as well as seeing what treasures are here. We know there's a creature with a green light that's walking. We don't know what that is or what's down that hallway. If you want to come with us, we're going to need some information. Otherwise, we'll leave you here to deal with everything else on your own. The choice is up to you.
So I need you to. Are you trying to persuade or threaten?
I'm doing neither. I am giving him the choice. We've kept him alive, so we're not a threat, but we're not going to attack him unless we're provoked.
All right. So he's.
I've made it clear to your companions that I'm more than happy to assist in your journey through the vault. You've not earned my trust. You did help revive me a bit, but I was not near death. I was merely hurt. I am fine, and I would have been fine, but I appreciate the sentiment, right? So you at least your gnome friend there has my gratitude for coming in with the right attitude. But your tone with me implies an authority that I do not accept. Like I said, I'm happy to help, but I feel like you're setting some pretty clear expectations about our relationship in the future. And I am not one of your companions. I am not your friend. And I do not work for you. So if you want a partnership, I'll need your tone to change a bit.
Oh, that's fair. I can't change my tone because this is how I talk. I just wanted to make it clear that we will help you and take you with us, and we would appreciate any kind of help that you can offer us. Step out of line, and things may get ugly. But I'm not expecting you to listen to everything that I say, nor am I expecting to lead you. I have a duty to look after everyone else that's in our group here. and we would appreciate another companion helping us along the way.
So I guess we'll figure out where that line that you refer to is at some point. But let's get something straight. You're not here for treasure. Why are you
I have
really
a
here?
feeling you're not either. And that trust we can build up over time.
I accept this. As
I know-
mentioned, do not cross me, and I shan't cross you. To the east, you're going
That
to
sounds
find a stone golem. I do not believe that this party, from what I can tell, has the skills to stealthily avoid it. There are but a few ways across. There's a tunnel to the north and a tunnel to the south. We did come from the north, and the bridge to the north was sound enough. It looks ruined, it looks broken, but we were able to navigate it without a problem. If we can make our way to the vault, and we can avoid the creature that lives there, we can easily escape this cavern.
Well, that sounds like a really good plan. I know for a fact that there's a trap in the floor just in the hallway north of us. We had a thought of possibly leading that sentry to step onto this trap and fall down into a cavern or whatever lies below. It's
That
interesting
sounds
knowing
like
that the hallway to the north.
That sounds like a solid plan. Now, I would love to know where my comrades are, because they were carrying things that belong to me, and I would like to go reclaim my possessions. Do you need
I
my
can
help with
certainly
this stone
show
golem?
you. If you help us with the stone golem, I'm more than happy to show you what I think might be your comrades, where I think they are.
That's acceptable. I do warn you, to the north is a minotaur.
We've already encountered that minotaur, and he's since been dispatched.
That is good news.
All right, so
That sounds like a good place to leave.
yeah, it sounds like this. I was gonna say this is a good stopping point. I was really hoping to do some fighting today, but you know what have you learned, right? So you have learned, yeah, no, you've learned quite a bit, honestly. And you have a bit of a pickle, right? So you have Brother Samael, right? There's not a lot of trust, right? Neither of you are cottoning up to the fact that you guys are trying to probably collect similar things. He wants to go search the body of his comrades. You have already looted the body of his comrades. Those things that he's looking for, you carry. Matter of fact, I think specifically you are carrying them, Tyros, if I'm not mistaken.
I am, as a matter of fact. Yep.
Right. The stone golem is continuing its patrol. Right. To the southern, through the southern tunnel and then back up to the north. You do feel that you're going to get guidance from Brother Samael, but you also feel that there's not a lot of trust there, and he's not necessarily going to protect all of you from anything. He doesn't necessarily need 6 of you. Right? So if some of you were to find your fate in a pit or in the lava, he would lose no sleep. And I would imagine his demeanor is going to change significantly when we play next, and he investigates the charred remains of his comrades. Any questions
That
before
will be
we
a
call it?
Just before once their conversation ends, I kind of lean in a little bit to Tyrus and be like, "Hey, did we tell him what happened to Chob?" Just in a whisper.
Oh, I'm sure at some point Chob will tell him what happened to Chob. And with that note,
Ask him if he wants to play cards with you, Dinjarin.
until the next time on the Smite Force Chronicles. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much. This was like, we didn't have anyone drop. We got, this is the whole party today. It was a lot of narrative, but it was a lot of fun. When we play next, we'll pick up here. We'll also start incorporating like your backstories. Like some of you have sort of honed your own. Next week, get me your backstories, because I want to weave those into sort of the narrative, the larger narrative. And as you can see there, and none of you have seen each other, so you've seen descriptions, but like for those of you who have gotten your narratives already, no one else is aware of your narrative. That you only share with them what you want to share with them. right? Like that is your story to tell. It's your story to own. All right. On that note, thanks everybody. And I will see you
Thank you.
next week.
Thank
guess-
you.
Thank you.
I'm glad I poisoned
Bye.
this guy.